Happy Tuesday, my friends. I hope you are doing so well. I'm really excited to be here and introduce you to my free Metabolism Booster Blueprint series. So over the next, I guess, 5 days, including today, we are going to walk through 4 of my favorite and go-to tips with my clients to help them naturally boost their metabolism. But before we dive in and talk about these nitty-gritty, super specific strategies, I do want to spend a bit of time talking through why what we currently are thinking most likely about metabolism could be incorrect. And I do also want to let you know that I have put together a free resource. I'm going to send it out on Friday or Saturday when we finish this series to summarize everything we talk about, plus give you permanent links to all these videos. I'm going to upload them to YouTube and all that good stuff. So be sure to grab that. I posted the link in this description. But today, again, we're going to talk about why the myths that we believe are about the metabolism are actually doing us a disservice. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my story and why this stuff hits home for me and why I want to share more information with you. And I'll answer any live questions that that anybody has. So feel free to throw them on if you have live questions. Otherwise, I just want to kind of talk through a little bit. So when I talk to women, what I generally hear when people are thinking about metabolism is this idea that it is some magical force within our bodies that burns calories, and that it's pretty much like a calculator. So with Jade Teta, he talks a lot, Metabolic Effect, they talk a lot about metabolism. And so he talks about 2 models. There's like the calculator model, and then there's the chemistry set model. And so both of them are incorrect. But honestly, I feel like the chemistry model is just like for professionals. It doesn't apply to us regular people. So I'm going to focus our conversation on this idea of like a calculator model. So this is what most of us believe if we've done any sort of dieting over the course of our lives. It's basically this idea that understanding our body's caloric needs is as simple as calories in, calories out. It's a predictable model. If I eat X number of calories, the number that I hear from women most of the time is 1,200, I will lose weight. It's simple. It's catchy. This is what MyFitnessPal and a bunch of the other calorie counting apps are all about, because it tries to distill down a very, very complex bodily process into a simple mathematical formula. And the truth is, this does not work, and over time it actually makes us fatter. So in a recent study that I read, 66% of people end up regaining the weight that they lost over the course of a diet and more in 1 year. And that is honestly because we focus so much on this calculator model, this in and out model, believing that we can actually just manipulate our body by counting grams, counting macros, counting calories. And the problem here is that it oversimplifies things because it ignores the fact that our metabolism goes like this. It shifts, it changes, and a lot of that is due to the hormones in our bodies. And we have a huge opportunity to shape the hormones and the amounts and all of that good stuff through our daily actions. And so that's why over the next 4 days, 5 days, 5 including tonight, I'm going to walk you through ways that you can get in sync with your hormones and help your body naturally boost its metabolism. Because what tends to happen when we start trying to lose weight? We tend to ignore hormones and just focus on calories in and calories out, which can lead to a lot of symptoms. You have to excuse me because I'm going to look at some notes here. But when we just focus on that calories in and calories out, we ignore the hormonal piece. And we tend to create a lot of problems. And anybody who has dieted and tried to manipulate her metabolism through our caloric intake is probably going to recognize some of these symptoms. So think GI problems, all the stuff we don't want to talk about, gas, bloating, constipation, all of it can be related to hormones getting out of whack and your metabolism kind of being out of its normal rhythm. Increased hunger and crazy food cravings actually are really related to what our metabolism is doing. We see increased anxiety and depression, decreased libido, weight gain or stubborn weight loss, like really struggling to lose that last 5 or 10 pounds, loss of muscle mass, the funky, irregular periods that we have. We also see changes in mood, sleep disturbances. All of that is an indication that we are trying to oversimplify metabolism by just slashing calories and not thinking about the other factors that are at play. I'm not going to go through the specifics of the hormones, but what we need to remember is that in order for our bodies to naturally boost our metabolism, we have to think about a couple things. So number one, we do need to be in a caloric deficit. Our bodies do need to be burning off more calories over the course of a day than we take in. Cool. But in addition to that, we also have to balance out all of the hormones that make us hungry, thirsty, tired, stressed, all of it. And if we can do that, if we're able to find that balance, that middle ground, our metabolism will be faster. We will start to burn more calories over the course of the day and have an easier time losing weight and then maintaining it after we make that weight loss. So a lot of times I will work with women who have done so much to try to lose weight. They've done all these programs and they just can't keep the weight off. They'll lose it, they'll gain a bunch back. They'll lose it, they'll gain a bunch back. And this is all too familiar. And that is because we are not focusing on the fact that we also have to remember that our body systems are not calculators. Instead, our bodies are much more complicated. And if we try to simplify it, we will end up gaining all the weight back that we lose because of our slow metabolism. And of course, I'm getting a FaceTime call right now. Oops. So why do I care and why am I sharing this information? When I first began my fitness journey when I was in my early teens, I wanted to lose weight so desperately that I read in a 17 magazine article that if I cut 500 calories a day, I would lose a pound a week. And it worked at first, right? At first, I lost weight really rapidly. And then my hormones got all out of whack. Anxiety and depression, along with my eating disorder, kicked in. And for years afterwards, I was stuck in this mindset that I had to cut calories. I had to be constantly thinking about this stuff in order to lose weight. And as I did it, as I counted, tracked, stressed, measured, my body stayed the exact same. I couldn't do anything to put on muscle mass. I couldn't lose the fat that I had stored around my belly. I was constantly bloated to the point where I remember this one picture that my mom took of me on Easter morning when I was about 16, 17, and I looked pregnant because I was so bloated. For years, this was my reality. I was constantly trying to lose weight, going through periods of eating more, gaining weight, cutting, and losing just a little bit. I'd never actually get to where I wanted to be. And to be totally real with you, I had doctors. I had worked with personal trainers and nutrition coaches at this point, but I couldn't see changes in my body. I was obsessed, I was stressed, I was miserable. And it was all because I, too, was oversimplifying what our metabolisms do. I had one piece right. I had the caloric deficit. I had the exercise, I was exercising, I was burning more calories than I was taking in. My hormones were completely out of whack. And what that meant was that I had all those symptoms that I talked about at the beginning of this video. When I started to take into account the biofeedback that our bodies naturally give us about how our hormones are doing, I was able to finally change the shape of my body, put on some lean muscle mass, and stop constantly feeling hungry, tired, and full of sugar cravings. Pretty crazy. I am so passionate about this stuff, and this is something that I go over in some way, shape, or form with all of my coaching clients, but I wanted to give some of it away for free. So again, over the next 4 days, we are going to talk quite a bit about how to eat automated. So you'll see me hashtagging on Instagram, automate that shit, because that's what it's all about. We're going to talk about ways that you can maintain your results without stressing about it. And also, we're going to help you really implement this in your day-to-day life. Because it is possible. Understanding our metabolism isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do, but when you learn how to stop thinking about your metabolism as a calculator and start thinking about it as a complicated system that you, my friend, are in control of, things get a little bit easier. So, if you have any specific questions that I can answer for you over the next 4 days, please comment them or DM me if you're more comfortable. Otherwise, for the next 4 days, at 6 p.m. Pacific, except for tomorrow, it's going to be 7 because I'm traveling to see my best friend and I won't get in time. We're going to talk through one tip of how you can naturally tune into your hormones and boost your metabolism naturally. And we'll talk about how you can kind of make changes and implement them into your day-to-day life. This content is incredible to the point that I actually thought about charging for it. So I thought about doing this as a paid course, but we're going to do this as a free Facebook Live training series. So let's make it a good one. If you have questions, please hit me up. Make sure to grab your copy of the blueprint so that you have it. If you sign up, I'm going to email it to you later this week because I want to make sure that you have the links to all the videos. Super excited about this in case you can't tell. And please let me know if I can help you or make this series more applicable. So all of you who just joined, go back and watch from the beginning, and I'll talk with you soon.